What's good, YouTube? And welcome to everybody freaking the heck out over Darkwing Blast opening weekend prices, and rightfully so. Multiple records are being broken. Most expensive ultra rare from a core set on opening weekend, as well as most expensive super rare from a core set opening weekend. And even though it's the wrong side of history, these kind of things excite me in terms of how the product was crafted, what exactly happened here. So I'm going to say all my thoughts that led us to this point, surpassing, of course, even my own expectations. So Fenrir has two sides of the community. One saying, oh, it's an overhyped Pankratops, it's so bloated. And then other people saying, wait, it's like a Luber. The next set, it gets even better. It's going to spike in price, trying to learn from past history. I don't think this is necessarily a Luber. Instead, it's a card that can be played within and outside of its own deck, leading to a lot of extra speculation and other people after the card that normally wouldn't be after a card that is in an archetype. And Magnemut hits that exact same point, that people outside of Bisted players can end up grabbing this card and being very excited to get it, and then half of the sets are now hollow. That includes the super rares going up to 26 different super rares per set, leading it to be under 3 play sets on average per case. And whenever you have something that's like this that can be played in its deck and outside of, and the deck's the top selling thing within the set, by the way, outside of Fenrir, because Lubellion is now towards $70, with a lot of the listings ending up around there. You see quickly after just a couple of copies, it is up towards 69, not so nice, and then 70. Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of interest in these cards from people who want to either just have access to them for their decks, and the YCS is also this weekend, which is going to add extra hype depending on how those go. And I don't think everybody in that room is playing the deck that they want to be playing. Let me know in the comment section down below if you were at the YCS, how much Fenrir as well as Magnemut were going in the room if you were just trying to get your copies. Now, looking at the rest of the set, there are things falling out. Cartesia is interestingly around $28, while everything else slowly gets a little bit cheaper than it was. Like Sprin is down a couple of bucks. Good job on not hyping Spellbound Yu-Gi-Oh! Community. Ignis is also down a couple of bucks. Dharma Cannon down like $1. It looks like it's actually kind of resurging a little bit. It was selling at 7 consistently and now is back towards 8. But again, opening weekend on a set that had upped MSRP, vendors ordered less of this than ever. I told you guys that Gamer's Choice as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! Daily, the big boys, they ordered less of it. And if they did, I think a lot of vendors also made that decision thinking the Megatins would be a home run, and then yeah, short prints happened, didn't they? And then you also have Battles of Legend around the corner, which pretty much has never failed in the history of that set. And then Mavens being an X Factor. Gamer's Choice actually ordered an okay amount of it. They still have pre-sales up that we'll be covering later. But yeah, that's all the things going into Darkwing Blast, leading it to be almost the same price as Power of the Element boxes, which is mind-blowing to me. I want to talk about Tapio cards real quick. They have new field centers, code What's Good 5 for 5% off, and support the channel directly will work over there. And I love how they mix the cute ones with the waifu release. I don't care if you hate Flunder. This is a gem. Look at how happy Impin in. It looks so good. And then you also have the Melfies along with, you know, Frugette looking pretty nice. Also, updates on their products. Their Sky Striker box is coming out this month. They just got them in hand, so they should be shipping them out. I know it said early October, so it's a little bit late versus when it could have shipped, but not by too bad. But their dice are facing a second delay. I'm personally looking very forward to this, but the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community has a pretty bad history with delays. So I'm going to put it this way. When it comes to other companies and manufacturing, I would much rather get a product right and done right and wait for a little longer. But I also understand it being frustrating if it runs into, like, I was getting this as a Christmas gift for somebody, right? And they were such a huge fan of this. I had it covered. I'm not getting their gift. I get how that can be frustrating too, but I would rather them see a product that's messed up, say, no, we're not accepting that. We want it done this way, and get it in right. For example, I haven't heard too many complaints about this. I have it on pre-order. It's an officially licensed Blue Eyes statue, and it was supposed to release over a year ago, and this was the update that they couldn't get the color right, and here I am still waiting on this statue. Am I mad that they released other statues and people have those in hands? No, I don't look at it like that, but I understand how people get into those situations. Companies face this all the time, so I'm comfortable, you know, saying, hey, pre-order this product over over here when there's a delay over there. But not everybody is, and I like to communicate these situations as well. Moving on, Magnificent Maven's pre-sales are up on TCG Player, and that's probably the most laughable thing on this market watch. When we look at how it's going over there, well, oh, the Ishizu stuff is all trying to start out around $40, except for this one at $35, and you have only 2 sellers. Evenly Matched also doesn't make that front page, and you see it around $22. So yeah, when it comes to Maven pre-sales over on TCG Player, they're a bit of a joke, but it's still worth looking through to see what vendors try to throw the dart on the dartboard. Not realistic at this point. Over on Gamer's Choice, a couple cards did go up in price. I think these went up toward 20s, half the price of those 40s. Good job. Evenly Matched went up from 10 towards 15, the only reprint that has gone up, so that's probably their top seller. In fact, we can actually on the site, I think, go to what is best selling. So let's check that out and see. Surprisingly, yeah, Evenly Matched is top 3. I kind of thought Talents would be ahead of it, and it is. But the reprints are all ahead of the Ishizu stuff in total sales. Wow, that is interesting to know. Draco back, why are you 6'9"? Okay, if that's the reason it's on the front page, I'm actually mad at you all. But when it comes to this stuff, it's interesting to see the order at which it's selling at, and the Ishizu stuff not making the front page here besides the deck core. Very, very interesting that the individual pieces are not. But yeah, what do you think of Mavens, how the presale prices are going, and TCG players being the usual joke? Remember, when it says presale, only a limited select number of vendors can be on there, and that's why opening weekend's so interesting, but sometimes the presales actually still ended up being cheaper, like with Darkwing Blast, but that's rare. Raid Raptor Force Strix is going up even further in price for the secret rare. I saw a complaint of a canceled order on somebody in Zodiac on this one, so vendors being scummy again. But when it happens like this, yeah, the cards for a deck that max rarity a deck, and there being other available options, if you just want the copy you can play, get the lower rarity. You're not always going to have the shiniest card, but be aware this is going up further, and even canceled orders are starting to happen on this card. There's that much traction for it. Black Whirlwind, this had an ultra rare release in Battles of Legend Armageddon, and I told everybody that seemed like a penny stunk to me. This card gets to $2 time and time again, and here we are. It took a set release around it, but it is going for around $2, and I did not see the turbo pack going that high, moon rocketing like crazy, and you do have a couple of other versions like the Legendary Collection 5Ds Ultra instead, but I would just go ahead and probably settle for this version if you want a shiny one right now. Arch Nemesis Ashatos, I heard this was featured by Triff, and that's why it spiked once again. Has a pretty interesting price graph where you can see it was up, it came back down, people slept on it, and it's come back up again. So apparently viable in a build of a deck, and Triff would be the source of that. And also, from things I haven't confirmed yet, apparently Pack said that this was a target that you could use with the Neko, the rank 2, sorry, words are slipping me, but basically you're able to turbo this out from deck even though it won't have an attack. It could be an anti-flunder target, and that's why this is going back up again, and I can never resist this pun. Are you Fog King kidding me? Why is this up in price again? So many times in history this one ends up spiking, seeing very little play. And finally, I wanted to point out with the 2022 10s, while eyes are over on Mama, I did that pun, and also Darkwing Blast, a lot of these prices have come down. This was solidly in the 40s, and now it's starting to dip under. Forbidden Droplet coming down, Dark Magician Girl down a couple bucks. Lightning Storm, of course, has a reprint to drain it, but also the Blue Eyes, the Red Eyes, Ash got a reprint. Diviner of Herald, which is, a lot of people are thinking this is going to be played with the stuff for the Tearlament Ishizu deck. This going down a bit too, even though it's probably about to see play. A lot of these cards are down in price right now. And be looking through the Megatins, seeing what you wanted, and look through, because while attention's elsewhere, attention will come back to the set, and people will start buying these cards again. Thanks for watching today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. I know a lot's going on with the market, so I've been trying to keep it super timely. And Darkwing Blast, it's crazy to actually see this opening weekend, and Konami go for cards that could be played in their deck and out of their deck. I like the approach of making it different rarities, but at the same time, since Eternity Code changed those ratios, I wonder what they would have been like as secret rares. That might have been way madhouse, so it is good to see them lower rarity and then play around with it. I would have liked to see it more like Power of the Elements, where you have multiple cards in those slots so that the value would be a little bit cheaper, but they can't all be like Power of the Elements, right?